Insane in the brain. Insane in the brain.
Kinda loco.
Insane in the brain.
Kinda loco. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I like to tell you just where I'm from. In the hills where the trees grow out with weed fields. The fucking pigs with shields holding the blue steels. Greenhouse effect with the weed connect. Doctor, DEA can keep Green Thumb in check. Doctor, HPS, God bless the whole crowd. Please, God, don't let me see no cops. Trunk low, ready to hit the highway. Don't let the eye in the sky fly my way. Or we're gonna have big trouble, that's no shit. Can't be going without no permit, but fuck that. I say the 2 and 5 trip that way. When they come, they can suck my dick. We can't grow without attention.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I like to tell you just where I'm from.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I like to tell you just where I'm from.
Hey, yo, Dr. Green Thumb. Come on back one time. People can't live without the herb, man. If not, they'd be drinking and driving and swerving. But thanks to Dr. Green Thumb, we grow in the backyard or inside with hydro. To the kush plant, brushing a tangerine dream. Tasty, blowing the fucking smoke screen. Cycles of weed are constantly grown. Somebody give me the razor to cut clones. I like to stop, but it feels so good. Horny plants thinking of my whole neighborhood. DEA never wanna leave me alone, but never ever ever got a warrant for my home. What that funny sound knocking at the door?
Open up, Mr. DEA.
Sorry, Green Thumb can't talk no more. Please don't follow me into the sun. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I like to tell you just where I'm from.
Out from the lab, no need for rehab. If I can't drive, then call me a cab. That's it. In my closet, the weed is dried out. Like 8 said, ain't no place to hide out. I don't wanna buy no weed from no cop. Get locked up and they close up my shop. That's why I buy no weed from no one. That's why they call me Dr. Green Thumb.
The scientifical, mystical one. Growing my crops with the rays of the sun. Come one, come all, and see how it's done. If you see the pigs, there's no need to run. Cause some of these pigs are down with Green Thumb. But you never know what be the outcome. You see the photo in the album. The weed is growing like my erection. Look, I never told you where I was from. Some call me real, but I'm Dr. Green Thumb. But I'm Dr. Green Thumb. But I'm Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I like to tell you just where I'm from. Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb.
To the ancestors, known and unknown, Ashe. To the gods, known and unknown, Ashe. All the praise, all the glory be to the Most High. What's going on, guys? It's your favorite Cosmic Warrior. Back at you with another Galactic Transmission. Right off the bat, tapping into the energy of closing out some fucking cycles. Fucking A right. Closing out some cycles. Getting some Dharma. But what is Dharma? Dharma is when we set ourselves free. You know, it's a vacation we get when we set ourselves free. Setting ourselves free from... It's the versions of us that still had the attachments to the things that we knew were not healthy for us. You know, it's the version of us that still had the attachment to the things that we know are holding us back, but hey, you know, we enjoy it. Hey, you know, it's hard to walk away from it. Hey, whatever the hey is, it's something, right? But eventually we close it the fuck out. Fucking right. Let's get a prayer in. Spirit, thank you for coming through. Thank you for guiding, protecting this message. Thank you for removing any negative energy from the area. Thank you for allowing this to get to any and everyone it's intended to. And so it is.
Young girl, give me a chance. What's your name? What's your number? I would like to get to know you. Can we have a conversation? The night is young girl, give me a chance.
She gave a smile, but I got no answer. Though I took a while before she gave a chance. She's acting cold. I offered her a drink. She turned me down flat. She said, if you want my name, you gotta be better than that. I said, okay. Now your shit don't stink. I'ma walk away. Only tried to buy you a drink. As I began to walk away, she said, I'm sorry for real. But every guy in the club tried slipping me pills.
I don't trust guys, each and every one will lie to you. I said I understand, but it's not what I try to do. I wasn't even gonna come to your table, but if I didn't, I knew that I regret it later. I'll go after what I want, but I got plans. For me, no need to slip a pill if I want it. She gave me a funny look, I couldn't tell what it meant. She let her guard down and on our conversation went. What's your name, what's your number? I would like to get to know you. Can we have a conversation? The night is young, girl, give me a chance. What's your name, what's your number? I would like to get to know you. Can we have a conversation? The night is young, girl, give me a chance.
She said, I want a man with a gun and a bishop. Now I'm in a Jamaica holding this and they bishop. Ain't too good for you to act so much strong, but I don't watch out for that on my hope and slow mo. If I go, spice what she yells, can't hold it from a wound. If not, loves and tastes like it, but you knew it's gonna nasty. She said,
I know that there has to be a thing in store.
I know I'm way, but I'm never satisfied in four ways. I know that you're good, man, at the soul. And if you're not from ever close enough to call me, not a roof, can I get better? Take care of what your speeds be said. I like to kill the lie. They said she never get ready. I live till we all stop fast, till we go dance, painted in a bed for the best.
What's your name, what's your number? I would like to get to know you. Can we have a conversation? The night is young, girl, give me a chance. What's your name, what's your number? I would like to get to know you. Can we have a conversation? The night is young, girl, give me a chance. Before anyone told you who you were already enough. Before borders named you, before history wounded you, you belong to something ancient and unbreakable. You rise like Mount Kilimanjaro, steady against every storm. Unshaken, unmoved, certain in your heart.
Unshaken, unmoved. Unshaken, unmoved. Unmoved but interesting. It's like the ways that we used to speak down upon ourselves. It's the ways that we used to speak negative about ourselves, upon ourselves, but before we were aware of it. You know, because once we're aware of it, once we're consciously aware of it, hey, now we know better. And now that we know better, better's fucking expected from us. And but also it's now that we know better, now I can see it, and so now it's a blatantly obvious fucking choice. So I fucking know. I know what I'm being led to do. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm choosing not to. But hey, at least I fucking know. You know, it's a lot different because like at least you know where you're allowing yourself to be stuck, where we hold ourselves up. where we hold ourselves up, where we block our blessings. But it's interesting too, because we don't perceive it that way. We don't perceive it as behind that the next door is our reward. We're too focused on what we're walking away from, the door that we're closing. We're too fixated on the small door in front of us instead of the huge, we're too fixated on the small one behind us that we're supposed to shut and leave behind us instead of the big massive one that's opening in front of us. But it's the lies that we tell ourselves that the future doesn't hold anything greater. The lies that we tell ourselves. But it's the lies that we learn not to tell ourselves. It's becoming consciously aware of the words that we speak. And then, so the first step is reining it in when you're speaking negative about yourself. It's putting a halt to that, but then it's speaking into existence. And it's once the conscious awareness is, we're always jumping, but what direction are we jumping in? We learn to control our attention, we learn to control our words, we learn to control our actions. And not just that though, we learn to let it work for our benefit. Because we're aware of how it worked, not for our benefit. So even if I don't know how to make it work for my benefit, I know what not to do because I know what doesn't lead to my greatest good. It's a lot of trial and fucking error. It's a lot of trial and error. But it's loving ourselves. It's showing ourselves grace. It's forgiving ourselves for, it's like, fuck, how many times did I ignore that sign? How many times did I fucking block that one? How many fucking times? But we become aware of it, but we don't allow it to hold us back. We draw attention to it because it's like, hey, I'm going to fucking learn this time. This is the time. But man, this is the time. This is the time. This is the time. This is the time that we stand in our true power. This is the time that we stand in our true authority. What's funny too is, people think that they have power. What power? Power in the 3D? Oh, that's cute. That's cute. You got power in the 3D. Ooh. As people are deceived. It's people look at this vessel, this flesh suit that I'm in, and it's like, ooh, what's so scary about you? It's like, fuck, faithful around and find out. Meet me in the 5D. I'm not so little. You know what I mean? But it's that I don't gotta swing that big dick energy. I got that big spirit energy. You know what I mean? That's that sigma energy. The alphas, that's cute. You're alpha, that's cute. You can go over there and hang out with all the alphas competing with each other. I'm in my own motherfucking lane.
Learn more truth in the neon haze than I ever did in them Sundays. So don't ask God questions you don't want answers to. I've done some things in that rearview mirror that
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to. Don't ask questions of what's keeping us in the slums, what's holding us back. Because asking you shall receive. You ask for it, and guess what? It's going to be right in your face. You won't be able to miss what's throwing you out of alignment, how we're holding ourselves back. And it's like, what are you going to go back to pretending like you didn't see it? Yeah, that's an option. It's always an option. Unfortunately, most of the time, that's the one that we choose. And we just put a layer over us, and then another layer, and then another layer. Hey, and next thing we know, we're a fucking onion.
Trade a whole life in for a 12-pack of wish. If these hands start talking about the scars they've earned, you sleep with the lights on. Every lesson I learned. So don't ask gauzy questions you don't want answers to. I've done some things in the rearview mirror that put the fear of God in you. I got gold, riding shotgun, names I don't dare repeat. Yeah, sitting down with guys trails of glory. All I got is blood and bone. If you dig too deep in my story, you might not make it home. Hey, so don't ask Galactic questions you don't want answers to.
Yeah. Don't ask God questions you don't want answers to. Mixed signals. You know, north node. You know what I mean? The questions people will ask. What makes you worthy? It's like, you think you're worthy? You know, but the funny part about that is the difference between, you know, when people are questioning your worthiness, what does that mean? It means that they can't see their worthiness. Because if they were truly able to see their worthiness, they wouldn't be jealous of yours. They wouldn't be questioning yours. You know, it's the ones that, you know, the want to question so much. It's the ones that have little to no knowledge of self.
Keep that pasta water off the
Little to no knowledge of self. Keeping that pasta water off the stove. It's knowing to keep the pasta water off the stove. It's you know what I mean? We like purified water. We like mineral water. We like spring water, not hot dog water. You know what I mean? At one point, you know, we were satisfied with hot dog water before we knew better. You know, but then once we know better and we get a taste of our own magic, a taste of our own, it's just our own magic. You know what I mean? It's a conscious awareness. You know what I mean? But it's how we perceive everything. It's because how we perceive things as we go into it helps us, you know, and affects the way that we perceive things as we're in it, affects the way that we perceive things coming out of it. It all plays a factor. It all plays a factor. You know, but the alignment, it's like, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes, you know, we're in your alignment because it's just like bam, bam, synchronicity. It's just everything just seems to fall into place. You know, sometimes, you know, there's no questioning it. You don't have to question it. It's obvious. You know, but it's trying to get other people to see it, though. It's when because it's exciting and you want to share it with people and you want them to see it because you want them to start believing in it too. But it's like you can't force people to see things that they're not ready to see. You can't force people to wear lenses that they're not anywhere near ready to wear. You know, it has to be a conscious choice and decision that they make. You know, all we can do is give an invitation. You know, all I can do is, you know, invite people to jump down the fucking, you know, the portal that I opened up. Because, you know, there's a couple guarantees when you jump into my energy. You know, one guarantee, there's something I'm going to say that's going to trigger you. There's something I'm going to say that's going to irritate you. There's something I'm going to say that's going to piss you the fuck off. But that's exactly where you need to look, though. That's exactly where you need to look. But the other guarantee is that you're going to expand your consciousness. You know what I mean? It's inevitable in my energy, you know, it's because I'm constantly expanding mine and you know, that's all I know, you know, shifting my perspective and keep growing and integrating and growing and integrating, jumping and pausing and jumping. And then, yeah, the journey never ends. It never ends. That's for somebody.
But I'm already gone. Truck won't start, but I'm riding on. Same old road with the same old thing, trying to outrun a week. So where the rain got a back that's bent and a mind worn thin. Boss man smiling while he cashes in. He don't know what a hard day means, just a pen and a disc and a set of keys. I've been digging low while you're living high. You don't hear us, you just pass by. We get paid in pain, and sweating dirt in the pouring rain. Every nail, every cut, every chain. Lord knows we don't get paid the same. You got silk and wine, I got busted hands and borrowed time. You count
count dollars, I count strings. Yeah, we get paid in pain. Built them walls that scrape the sky, but I can't afford what's standing high. Marble floors and a view so wide while I'm eating dust on the outside. Mama said, son, just hold your ground. But this ground keeps breaking down. Every year it takes a little more. Leaves you bleeding to the cold. You sip slow while we work fast. You don't see how long this lasts. We get paid in pain, and sweat and dirt in the pouring rain. Every nail, every cut, every chain. Lord knows we don't get paid the same. You got silk and wine, I got busted hands and borrowed time. You count dollars, I count strings. Yeah, we get paid in pain. Oh Lord, if these beams that talk, they call our names. Every inch so deep in pain. You build your throne on a man like me, then lock the door and lose the key. One day coming, you'll understand what it costs to be this kind of man. No rest, no go, just bodies wearing down and growing old. No crown, no throne, just trying to make it back home. We get paid in pain, and sweat and dirt in the pouring rain. Every nail, every cut, every chain. Still out here, just the same. You got your high-rise view, but it ain't built without the likes of you. When it falls, remember the name of the ones paid in pain. Ain't no gold in these hands, just scars and a name. You watch it still run. Long enough. Steam start moving different. Drip, drip, drip. That angel shine running. That's the harvest coming. Midnight 5 at a copper pot gold. Black pine forest with a cold wind blow. World cold twisting while the jar light shine. Clear drip falling out the edge of time. Boots in the dirt by the steel house door. Six in the jars and I'm waiting for more. Smoke curls slow while the night gets deep. Woods stay quiet but they never sleep. Steam start crawling through the land of the light. Moves like a ghost in the mountain night. Every drop hitting glass below. Sound like a heartbeat slow and low. Drip, drip, drip. Still breath slow. Drip, drip. Something in the shadows grow. Creeping steam in the midnight air. Cold moon glow in the dead man stare. Watch stay warm while the spirits run. Harvest moon, the work get done. Creeping steam through the pine wood trees. Hear the cone, feel the whisper to me. Drip by drip I see the harvest awaken inside of me. Fly low in the gravel rain. Copper hung got a hollow sing. Jaw number 7 start glowing bright like the shine got life tonight. Let's stop moving in the crooked pine. Steamroll slow through the jar line. Eyes like caught on a silver stream. Lost somewhere in the creeping stain. Forest breathing through the midnight frost. Feel like something inside me lost. Favorite drop fall slow and clean. Pulling me deeper in the creeping stain.
steam ain't rising. It's crawling. People asking what's under it. You sure you want that? They see the steel, they see the fire in their eyes. They see the sparks, but never ask what's inside. They think it's on, think it's something I wear. Like I can take it off and just breathe fresh air. But this ain't paint, this ain't a phase I outgrew. This ain't a costume I can step out of too. Every blade, every weld, every scar you see got a reason it's attached to me. You don't want truth, you want a version that's clean, something you can understand, something in between. Don't take it off, don't ask me twice. You won't like the shape of what's inside. Don't take it off, don't take it off, leave it alone. Some things ain't meant to be shown. You think it's hiding something weak or ashamed, like there's a softer man behind all the flame. Nah, it's worse than that, I'll tell you plain. There ain't a behind, this is what I became. Every bridge lit up just to see in the dark. Every loss called deeper into the mark. You call it a mask cause it helps you go, but I buried the man who needed hope. You want closure, want a face you can read. The truth don't sit where you want it to be. Don't take it off, don't take it off, don't ask me twice. You won't like the shape of what's inside. Don't take it off, don't take it off, leave it alone. Some things ain't meant to be shown. You ever see a fire burn so long?
Some things aren't meant to be shown. Diamond in the rough. Abundance. I'm picking up the energy of people that wanted to piggyback. It's people that could see your worth. People like, we're hoping that you couldn't really see yours, that you wouldn't know, abundance. But, people get mistaken with abundance, and they just mistake abundance for physical money, right? But mind on my money, it's energy. Energy is a true currency. But abundance, the definition of abundance, as Bashar defines it, it's always having exactly what we need. We always have exactly what we need, not to finish the race. But we always want that we have. We're always thinking, that's where we make the mistake, is we're always thinking that we're going to be getting enough to finish the whole race. We have exactly what we need to start it, to dip our toes in, to get it started, to make it to the next stage, to do whatever. Sometimes we'll be able to make, what we get stretch out longer and make it to the finish. Other times not. But it's energy. It's people that wanted. It's like they wanted to take credit for creating you. It's like, without those trials that I gave them, without those lessons that I gave them, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, you were so kind to be a little fuckhead. Oh yeah, you were so kind. I forgot to thank you. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? What the fuck were they expecting? It's, you know what I mean? It's, well, it's given narcissistic. It's given that they thought that they could play under the radar. It's given that they thought that they could just, well, they thought that you were stupid. That's what it breaks down to, is they thought that you were slow. Well, no. Who's feeling slow now? Well, it's funny too. It's who's feeling slow. It's the realization of slowing themselves down. Well, that's what happens when you get fixated on other people's lane and you don't fixate on your own. That's what happens when not only do you not fixate on your own lane, you veer out of your own lane. You know, that's what happens. You know, but interesting too, though. Some people, sense of entitlement or whatever, or the big ass ego. It's like they feel entitled to take 2 lanes. And they can just ride down the center. You know what I mean? Is it like the seas are gonna part for you? Like, who the fuck are you? You know, but it's funny. It's the people with the ego that be like, who the fuck does this guy think they are? It's no, actually, who the fuck do you think you are? And it's the people that, well, that's what it is. It's the people that have little to no understanding of themselves, and they don't understand themselves, much less understand themselves. And of course, yeah, it's gonna be really intimidating to someone that, you know, completely understands themselves. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of times people know what's keeping them stuck. They know what's keeping them stuck, and you can point it out to them, and they'll blatantly tell you, yeah, I know, I just don't feel like giving it up. Well, thanks. You're telling me, why the fuck am I wasting my time helping you anymore? That's what I'm hearing. I'm here. You hear that sound? That's the door shutting. That's what that sounds like.
Son, you don't stay down long. So I squared my shoulders and I sang this comeback song. Rise up, brother, lace up those boots. One more mile, one more fight, one more truth. Every scar's a story, every fall makes you tougher. Keep that fire raging, you ain't done no suffer. On your hands, this ain't the end, and this is where the real man stands. Rise up, brother, let the whole damn world hear you roar. One more mile, there's a whole lot more.
You know, it's hearing you roar. It's, you know, it's the people. You know what shuts them up real quick? The truth. The truth. And the louder you get with the truth, the quieter they get. You know, all the energy that they were, you know, it's, you know, so many different ways that people try to mask themselves in other people's energy. So many ways that, you know what I mean, that it's interesting, trying to fill shoes that were never theirs to fill anyways. You know, it's amazing what the truth can do. It's amazing, you know, what words can do. The impact of words. You know, when you learn to use your words as sword, when you learn to wield your words as a sword, you can slice through the deceit with ease. Interesting too, disease, the lies that have been plaguing us.
There's a whole lot more in store. Yeah, the nights get quiet and the words creeping slow. But a country heart knows how to let the good times grow. One prayer, one step, one honest try again. You'll wake up one morning and see how far you've been. Rise up, brother, lace up those boots. One more mile, one more fight, one more truth. Every scar's a story, every fall makes you tougher. Keep that fire raging, you ain't done no suffer. Heart in your chest, calluses on your hands. This is your moment, go and take your stand. Rise up, brother, let the whole damn world hear you.
You know, as we rise up, as we stand in our authority, as we claim our position in the 5D, you know, as we speak our truth, but the truth, the truth. And you know how the truth is easily found? Whose story has accountability in it? Whose story always seems to lack accountability? Whose story is always pointing the finger, pointing the blame? And some things are quite obvious. Some things can't weather the storm. Some things can weather any storm.
Names carved deep in memory. Sheriff says I never changed. Just learned how to live with the blame. I don't kneel, I don't beg, I don't wash these sins in lead. I just drive till the tank runs dry. Watch the truth in the rear view die. I got gravel in my blood, smoking my love, slow burn hard and a loaded tongue. The devil's listening, tell him I'm numb. I don't fear hell, I'm already from it. I walk that line with a crooked grin. Don't ask where I'm going, ask where I've been. I ain't clean, I ain't young, I got gravel in my blood. Gas station lights, neon confessions, cheap beer wisdom, bad directions.
Neon confessions. Bad directions. Bad directions. Karmic lessons. What I'm getting at, financial prosperity. It's lack of funding. But that's what this aunt wanted. Picking up on energy. But this aunt, wanted you in a lack of funding. But what is that? But what is that? Abundance. What is that? It's they wanted you never to wanted you always in a lack of peace, never to find peace. Never anything that you needed to never find. Or to always, but the thing is too though, it's a lot of it's to get us to deceive ourselves. It's to lie to ourselves and trick ourselves into thinking that we don't have enough to do this. We don't have enough to do that. We always have exactly what we need. It's the lies that we tell ourselves. It's the lies that we let others project onto us. It's lies. But when you learn to transmute, when you learn to, but how do you, it's like, you learn that everything works out. You only come to the understanding that everything works out for your greatest good by coming to the knowing. Well, but it starts with the belief, because you only believe in what you do not know. So it starts with the belief that you hold on to until it happens so many times where it's a knowing, or it happens to enough times where it should be a knowing. You should have picked up enough signs where you should stand in a knowing, because it's a huge difference in your energy when you stand in knowings opposed to when you stand in beliefs. When you stand in beliefs, you're always going to be questioning, which means if you're questioning, that you're still setting energy in the wrong direction. Even when you're deceived by these eyes, that's why you don't look through these eyes. You find the peace, you find the calm in the storm, you find alignment. And you don't fixate on these eyes, you don't fixate on these ears. They're deceiving. We deceive ourselves all the fucking time.
This ain't about monsters. This is about what lives inside you. Chains on human nature.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause that because this is a dope beat. But it's what we release. What we release. Well, it's the ways that we imprison ourselves. We stop it. Well, it's kind of like we release the old version of ourselves that that prevented us from releasing the things, I guess that's kind of what I'm getting. But it's also too shady double life. But it's the way, it's learning the ways that our subconscious is fucking us. You know, but it's the understanding that things can only affect you negatively if you allow it to. And by allowing it to means it's not that you have full control over what happens to you, but you have full control over how you react to it. And by taking control of what you can take control of, which is how you react, you know, that's all you can do. And so it's learning to do that. But it's controlling your subconscious. But it's the more that we bring conscious awareness to the things. It's the more frequent times that we catch ourselves in the act and we rein it in and we change course, we change our behavior, we change our thoughts, we change whatever it is that needs correction. It's the repetitive action of that is how you control your subconscious. But then it's also the practices that you can do, waking up early in the morning and slowly like reprogramming your brain, microdosing shrooms, reconnecting parts of your brain that have been disconnected. There's so many different ways that can help us to do that.
Every sin's a loaded weapon. Depends how you let it deal. I don't hide it, I don't fight it. I just put it in the light, so you see what's driving you every day and every night. Welcome to Grin's Rebel Circus, where your truth don't hide in shame. Every sin's got a spotlight, every fire's got a name. That's guzzle gluttony, never knowing when to stop. It ain't just food, it's anything you stack up to the top. Too much drink, too much thrill, always needing more. It's a hole you keep on filling that just hollows out your core. Here's lusting a lust that burns.
But that's the thing too, though. Gluttony. It's you know what a tough reality for people to realize is. It's the people that'll cast a judgment. It'll be the people that never touched drugs in their life. They would know past versions of me, and they'll automatically, through their set of lenses, they'll never be able to see me for what I've achieved spiritually. They'll never be able to, because they'll only ever be able to look at me through that lens. When in reality, that has nothing to do with it. It was just another obstacle I had to get over. That has nothing to fucking do with it. Nothing. That's a tough pill that a lot of people are gonna have to swallow. It was my ability to stay aligned through drug addiction, through alcohol addiction, through a lot of bullshit. It was my ability to do that. The people that fall into the deception of the church. I'm a good person, I don't follow the sins of man. It's with no consideration, with no knowledge of universal law, with no knowledge of that, and think that they're gonna die and go to heaven when you're sitting here living in fucking hell the whole time, and you're gonna die and do it all over again because you didn't fucking learn. It's sad. It's sad.
Through the world, you just ain't even trying to survive. Now you see it, clear as day. Ain't about them, it's about you. Welcome to Grin's Rebel Circus, where your demons pick the name. You can run or you can use them. You're the one who set the play.
But that's it. That's fucking it, though. That's it, though. It's the motherfuckers that run from all their battles. I stood in my battles through alcohol addiction, through drug addiction, through every other battle I fucking went through. A lot of the battles at the same time. I fucking stood my fucking ground through all of it. I found alignment through all of it. But people have no idea of the spiritual warfare that they engage in every motherfucking day, every second. The words that they speak, everything that they consume, it's consumption. It's all consumption. Consume. That's all people fucking do.
Call me the man.
But consumption, man. When you get a taste of true knowledge, when you get a taste of true knowing of yourself, when you get a taste of something fucking real. But most people they settle for satisfactions that surface fucking level. To me, I don't. It's fucking. What the fuck even is that? It's nothing. I see it for the fucking crumbs and the nothingness that it is. It's a fucking space filler. You know, interesting too. The space filler, the ether that's all around us that fills everything. That just because we can't see it and we can't define it and we can't control it and monetize off it, we're gonna pretend like it doesn't exist. Okay.
Look at all the sprouts, they are so profound. New life found peace on a battleground. I grabbed a pen and notepad, stepped away from the computer so I could write this down. I really can't tell you how this makes me feel now. Ooh, it's so good. Brain bleeding straight to the fingertips. Oh, for your ears to read this. Legs shaking, arms out, trying to balance on bridges that shouldn't have led to me. Trying to balance on shit while just trying to breathe. Now roots running deep through ash and nails. Driving off what used to destroy peace and make me fail. Just give it a little while and you'll see what's all around in your breath. What I just found by burning it all the fuck down. I wanna tell you a story that ended in fire and flames. The reminisce of what you built and I burnt down. Now feeds the ground. Look at all the sprouts, they are so profound. New life found peace on a battleground. I used to walk around like I don't give a fuck. You used to back it all up like you were with me in the mug, right there with me. But you were really standing on the ground watching me drown. Reaching like you cared, teaching like you shared knowledge to get me back up, safe and sound. Best thing I ever did was move the fuck out of my childhood town. Found new people who brought me back to me with no clown. New life found peace on a battleground. Took a job I thought I'd never have.
Took a job I never thought I would have. Finding peace on a battleground. It's the, you know what's interesting too? It's the people that can see us on the battleground. It's the people that know the battles that we're in. And the ones that'll choose to throw a rock, shoot an arrow, throw a spear, you know, thing. Oh, no one's looking. Oh, they already have so much going at them. Oh, they're blocking those pretty good. What's some more? I've been holding this in for a while. You know what I mean? It's the things, the resentment. That's what I'm getting, resentment. Resentment, be still and listen. They really, peace on the battleground. It's resentment that you're able to find peace. That's what they have resentment for, that you're able to maintain peace. Like, because, well, that's interesting too, but it's like, they're jealous of your peace, but they're a big cause of trying to create peace. But it's interesting too, but it's like the more, in all reality, we should be thanking people that do ill upon us because they're making us stronger. When we know that nothing can break us, when we know that it's all working for our greatest good, when we know that, you know, I'm going to be able to transmute this and it's going to work out in my favor. It's like when we stand in that knowing, it's laughable, but it's also kind of like it gets annoying. It's a nuisance, but it's laughable. It's like, oh, here we go again. It's whatever. It's whatever. That's interesting too. It's whatever. It's rolling over the shoulders. It's like watching online, but it's watching online and seeing the things that you're going through, and it's just like, yeah. You know, but it's that state of, you know, it's living in the present, but it's also not necessarily throwing labels on things. It's not going off of appearances, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times, you know, we'll look at, you know, appearance-wise. It's like, oh, I got fired, I lost my job, this happened, that happened. And you're like, oh, it's the end of the world. It's like, well, what if you're about to get a job with, you know, more freedom? What if you're about to, you know, get a new job with better pay? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what are we fixating on? Is it necessarily a bad thing? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Why don't we wait and ride the wave out a little bit before we start slapping labels onto it? Why don't we ride the wave out for a little bit before we just slap a label on it? But that's the piece, though. You know what I mean? It's, but it's interesting, too. It's, a lot of times when we don't label it, it's the recognition that I know that this is working out for my greatest good. How? Oh, I can't see it right now. I'm pretty blind. I can't see it. But I'm going to stick with the knowing. I'm going to stick with the knowing that it's working out for my greatest good. And I'm not going to slap a label on it. I'm just going to leave it neutral. Because I know how it's working out for my greatest good. I don't know. I'm waiting for you to point that out to me because I sure as fuck can't find it. But it's the knowing that we stand in, regardless if we can see it or not. But it's acceptance we have to have is that, we're not always going to see it. But that's interesting, too, is I'm picking up on jealousy, but it's also like, it's kind of like retaliation, wanting to see things happen. But it's, when we hold on to that, when we hold on to, I have to see justice happen, that's a chain, that's a bond, that's not something that we want to attach ourselves to. That's not something we want to attach ourselves to. But, it's just, it's the tough lessons that we learn, not because we wanted to. I was going to say not because we had a choice, but, we always have choices. And we came down here to learn the tough lessons, they're not fun, but it all serves a purpose. And, the only time we fail is when we fail to learn the lesson. That's for somebody. I'm going to wrap this up right here. So if you're actually, you know what? I'm going to stop. This is the end of the reading. So I'm going to stop that video that I'm going to post on YouTube. But if you guys stick around, if you're courageous enough, I am going to, what am I going to do? Oh, all right. Let's all play, I'm going to play strip poker with myself. Hopefully I don't lose again. It's kind of embarrassing when I lose against myself. But I don't know. We'll see. See if I have better luck this time. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what we're going to do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. But we're going to jam on some music. We can do that. Why did that stop? 8 o'clock on the dot. Abundance.
You ever noticed? You ever noticed when they can't push you into play, they praise you into it?
What's today, Friday? What time is it? It's only 8 o'clock. I'm fucking tired, though. I've been up since, 4 a.m. Why did that stop again? I know I didn't pause it that time.
Do you ever notice? Do you ever notice when they can't push you into play?
What's up, goddess?
They praise you into it. It feels like you're in control.
Spirit's always playing.
Oh, that's the trick.
Oh, but that's the funny thing, though. That's the trick. The trick is to pay attention. Spirit's always talking to us. Our spirit team's always talking to us. You know what I mean? It's paying attention is that's what the trick is picking up on the cues. Which a lot of time it's fitting in. It's how does it all fit in? Sometimes we don't know. All right, you want me to break? All right, for instance, some I'm waiting for it to play out to see what the signs are right now. So something it started off with, I was seeing it on my news feeds a lot. It was Matilda, right? It was up on my news feed a lot, and then I got a notification I get my subscription to Scentbird, and I didn't know I renewed it. Last I knew it was I had it discontinued, right? And so I got a notification saying that, hey, your order's been shipped. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even select anything. So I was going through my mind. I'm curious what they even sent me, right? And so hold on, I went. It's not that one. What did I do with it? Yeah, right here. So first it kept popping up on my timelines. And then I get my order for Scentbird in, and it's stuck. Oh look, see that? And it's like, okay, what the fuck? And then you know what I've been seeing recently? There's this page I follow on Facebook, and it's like, why is it, or something like that. But he goes into a lot of like I don't know, like alien shit, right? And he started getting into this story about this female officer, part of some sort of UFO government program, and her name was Matilda. And there was like 5 parts to this video, and I kept getting different parts of it. Well, obviously it's part of the algorithm. If I watch that one, it's going to send me more. But those are, you know, just the things that were popping up into my existence, my reality. And it's like, okay, well, what are all these signs? And it was interesting too. I don't know. We'll still waiting to see how more of this is gonna play out. It's like, not sure what the sign is. You know what's interesting too? You know what the other scent was? It was a good one. What is it? Well, I don't know how it smells yet, but it's Your Majesty. I'm like, oh, very fitting, very fitting. Good choice. I'm gonna like that one. It's got hints of sandalwood, amber, water lily, jasmine, gardenia. I like sandalwood. You know what's crazy too is that well, it's all those, you know, all those scientists that have gone missing, right? You know, it's like, what is it, 14 or 15 of them now? And what's interesting too is, you know, there's so many different angles to look at that at. You know, a lot of them were UFOs. Some of them were studying anti-gravity technology, and they achieved it. And you know, with the understanding of anti-gravity is not good for business. You know, you have anti-gravity, then we don't have to be fighting, you know, wars over resources that we never should have been to begin with. So anti-gravity has been around for a long time, just gets suppressed. You know, the government swoops in and steals the research, and the person commits suicide. And that's a way too common thing. You know, it's, people create these things with so much joy because they know the good that it could do for people, you know, but it's that's the reason that they get silenced, because of the good that it'll do. It's unfortunate. You know, but another part of the aspect of it too is, you know, any whistleblowers that would have pointed stuff out, you know, the government will create stuff, and they'll also use false flag attacks. You know, a lot of the main people that I have a lot of respect for is, you know, they hold the belief that it's nothing you know, from out of here, which we know we can't get through the firmament. You know, if it's anywhere to get through it, it's through the ocean. You know what I mean? Because it's water, as above, so below. It's all water. You know what I mean? And we can't get through the firmament. The only way would be to get some sort of portal to go all the way down or something. Who knows? But it's not up like they, you know, some people still fucking believe in. You know. But it's also, you got to remember the fact that they're going to try to deceive us. And there's a whole lot of holographic technology, right? That they'll use it, you know, they'll project things into the sky and make us think that we're going under attack, so that, you know, we will get under fear, so that we'll submit to one authority, so that we'll do this and that. You know, when it gets rolled out, it'll be used for the sole purpose of creating enough fear so that when we submit to whatever they're going to try to roll out is what it's going to be. You know, there's so many different angles, and You know, it's laughable how you'll see Trump get up there and talk about central casting, but then you got that same fucking broad that brought the pizza to the White House is the same one that wasn't she an astronaut, and then she was like three other different roles that's come up in like the media recently, and it's like it's laughable, and it's, you know, it's, I don't really focus on that. I focus on myself, and I'm shifted to the new earth, and sometimes I'll look around and it's like, what the fuck timeline is this? Some things I recognize and it's obvious and it's a good thing, and other things I see and it's like, what the fuck even is this? And I don't know, but I try not to get caught up in the confusion, you know, which is almost even more confusing sometimes when you have more knowledge about things, just because it's hard not to try to make sense of things, and I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword.
To make you obey. Loud applause for the version they want. Recognition comes when you correspond. They try to guide us off, we would deal with the strings. Polish words first, then they ask what they need. If you compliment
No,
me,
because
they come from your
the thing about staying asleep, though, is well, once you're aware that you're asleep, you're no longer asleep. Are you gonna go back to bed? I couldn't go back to bed. Sometimes you just can't go back to bed, no matter how much you try to.
They sell, I never chase praise to fit in, to play their way. They talk for show, I'm still the same. Don't need their blessings to see what I say. I stay uncontained, I don't shift my place. They keep their mode, I keep my spine. Their speech, leash, I cut on sight. I don't seek recognition, that's not my design. I stand self-said, I don't realize.
Oh no. Alright guys, I guess I should warn you that some people might find my content, they think that I provide false information, and it might be uncomfortable for people. So I guess, I don't know. I guess TikTok wants me to warn people to bring your diapers and your fucking wet wipes or some shit. I don't know.
I stay coated hard, I'm used sugar free, so don't dress it sweet. My diet so raw, it's keeping me real. They gas you up just to lower your guard, but I don't need top ups, I stay fully charged. Better a blade that's keeping me sharp than a gold sheet shining, still keep me dark. Praise the feet, trained to comply, ovations for puppies that walk in line. I don't tread that road, I don't behave, allergic to knives and fake respect. Praise hits clean, so just staying free. No outside noise, gotta say in me. No encouragement needed, I don't seek, I don't need I said the deep close. On my way out. On my way out. Storm in the marrow, fire in the bone, not just a battle. This blood is home. Stand firm, shoulder to shoulder we rise. A wall of iron beneath those sky shields, a lot more than flesh and all. We are the living line, the shield wall. Step in the circle carved by the past.
The song's fire.
Ancestors breathing through ash. Wood in my hand, but it's more than a shield. It's every oath that my bloodline sealed. The ground underfoot holds names we don't know. Roots run deep where the old spirits go. No retreat, no fear. Hear the call to stand as many, never to fall. Stand firm, shoulder to shoulder we rise. A wall of iron beneath those sky shields. A lot more than flesh and all. We are the living line. Threads of the norns in everyone. Breath in my chest like a storm held tight. Inhale the dark, exhale the fight. We don't just stand, we become the call. A pulse, a rhythm, the shield wall. Thunder speaks in the bones below. Ancient drums in the blood that flows. Sagas unwritten, they're lived in flame. Carried in spirit, not just in name. Eyes of the All-Father, not above but within. Wisdom is carved through loss and sin. Through mud and memory, rise or fall. We bind as one the eternal wall. Steel meets steel, but the war's inside. Fear on the edge where the weak divide. Frost in the lungs, fire and will. Balance of death and the power to build. Every strike is a lesson learned. Every scar is a truth we've earned.
Yeah, I found been finding a lot of like Viking themed music recently. I'm vibing with it. This shit's a whole ass vibe.
Begin to fall, one breath, one will. The shield wall. Intelligy, 8 blows, stand of their saman. Emos, Keldavis, Kelder, stand them fast. Erler, Bunden, Hans fallacy, the stand firm. Shoulder to shoulder we rise. A wall of iron beneath old sky shields. Lots more than fire and all. We are the living light. The shield wall.
Actually, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. But thanks for tapping in. Thanks for your likes, your shares, your comments, your gifts. Thank you for the exchange of energy. And I'll catch you guys next time. And